Before the megachurch, before the sold-out conferences, before the influence that stretched from pulpits to presidents. T.D. Jakes was a part-time preacher working 10-hour shifts at a chemical plant in West Virginia. No camera crews, no global brand, no packed arenas shouting, "Get ready, get ready, get ready." Just folding chairs, fluorescent lights, and a congregation of 10 people. 10. Today, he leads one of the most influential churches in America. But the real story isn't how big it became. It's how a grieving teenager with a lisp who cleaned his father's dialysis machine at night became a voice that would shape millions, and what it cost him to carry that weight. Thomas Dexter Jakes was born in South Charleston, West Virginia, Appalachian Hills, working-class roots. He wasn't the golden child. He had a noticeable lisp. Teachers told him he'd never be a public speaker. Then came the slow heartbreak of watching his father die from kidney disease. As a teenager, Jakes helped clean the dialysis machine. He saw suffering up close, the tubes, the exhaustion, the fragility of life. Grief doesn't just wound you. It matures you. Responsibility came early. Resolve came faster. By day, he worked at Union Carbide. By night, he studied scripture. He wasn't seminary polished. He wasn't groomed for national influence. He was a bivocational preacher with a fire he couldn't explain. In 1980, he began preaching in a small storefront church. 10 members, and for years it stayed that way. No explosion, no viral moment, just faithfulness. But Jakes noticed something. People weren't just spiritually hungry, they were emotionally bleeding. Abuse, rejection, addiction, broken families, silenced trauma. And pulpits weren't addressing it, so he did. In the late 80s, he started a Bible study called "Woman, Thou Art Loosed." He wasn't preaching to celebrities, he was preaching to the wounded. It wasn't hype, it was healing. Women who had been dismissed, abused, overlooked, finally heard language for their pain. The message spread. Conferences followed, books followed, a movement followed. The small-town preacher who cleaned dialysis machines was suddenly filling arenas. He realized something powerful. The world wasn't looking for a theologian, it was looking for a physician. Then came the terrifying step. In 1996, at the height of his regional success, Jakes felt called to leave West Virginia. He packed up 50 families and moved to Dallas, Texas. No guarantees, no safety net, just obedience. There, he founded the Potter's House. The symbolism was intentional. The potter shapes the clay. Pressure creates purpose. The church exploded in growth, from 10 members to tens of thousands. Books hit bestseller lists. Films were produced. Leadership conferences filled stadiums. He became more than a pastor. He became a cultural architect. But growth attracts scrutiny. Theological critics questioned his views on the Trinity. Traditionalists accused him of being too theatrical, too prosperous, too influential. Some called him heretical, others called him visionary. As one of the most prominent black pastors in America, every move was magnified. Faith, race, economics, politics, all converged at his pulpit. And leadership at that scale is isolating. He has spoken openly about exhaustion, emotional depletion, seasons of burnout. Because when you become the voice of healing, people forget you're human. They expect you to never doubt, never struggle, never bleed. But even shepherds grow weary. He once said, "You cannot pour from an empty vessel." There were moments he had to step back, not because he failed, but because survival requires wisdom. Jakes made a controversial choice. He refused to stay inside church walls. He moved into film, into entrepreneurship, into leadership consulting. He was criticized for stepping into the marketplace, but he believed the church couldn't afford isolation. He chose to be a bridge, between faith and culture, between pulpit and boardroom. He empowered women in ministry. He normalized conversations about trauma in spiritual spaces. He spoke about emotional health long before it was popular. Obedience cost him comfort. It cost him simplicity. It cost him being easily understood. But he stayed on the wheel. Today, the Potter's House stands as one of the most influential churches in America. But his true legacy isn't square footage. It's the mental shift he brought to the church. He taught a generation you can be spirit-filled and strategic, that your pit is often palace preparation, that your chemical plant years are not wasted years. From a stuttering boy in Appalachia to a global voice, from 10 members to tens of thousands, from cleaning dialysis tubes to shaping leaders. He proved Jeremiah 18:3-4 true. The clay may be marred, but it is not discarded. It is reformed. Maybe you feel stuck in your own plant job season. Maybe you feel overlooked, underestimated, unqualified. T.D. Jakes' story reminds us, the potter doesn't waste pressure. He uses it. The crushing isn't the end, it's the shaping. If you're willing to stay on the wheel and trust God with the pressure, type "I am in the potter's hands" in the comments. Because small rims do not cancel big callings. And what feels like breaking may actually be becoming. Like, share, and subscribe for more.